It's near impossible to have a basketball conversation without it spiraling into the GOAT debate. Us fans are always debating who the greatest player of all time is. We constantly compare stats, achievements, and accolades of the best players to play the game. But the problem is, none of us have ever felt what it's like to line up opposite Michael Jordan, LeBron James, or Wilt Chamberlain. We have never been dunked on by Shaq, had Steph Curry pull up and sink a three in our face, or be mentally drained by Kobe. But the people who played across from these greats probably have the most compelling arguments on who the GOAT is. So who do NBA legends and players think the GOAT is? Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is majorly believed to be the greatest of all time. He set the bar on all things related to basketball and became an icon for the sport. Asking him who he believes to be the GOAT is just disrespectful. Of course it's him. But in 2019, Michael Jordan was asked to select a star-studded starting lineup for a hypothetical pickup game, and his selections were surprising. He selected Magic Johnson, Hakeem Olajuwon, Scottie Pippen, James Worthy, and himself. Of course, all these players played around the same time as MJ, and he doesn't think players from different eras should be compared, so his team makes some sense. But when asked who the #1 all-time great is, Michael Jordan keeps his opinions very humble and respectful by outright refusing to provide a straight answer. He thinks LeBron is great, Kobe was great, Kareem was great, and Bill Russell was great. LeBron James. LeBron is tightly on the heels of Michael Jordan in terms of being the greatest player of all time. He is closing in on stats, achievements, and accolades. He is currently the best player in the NBA and has won 4 NBA championships. Before the 2022 All-Star Game, LeBron was interviewed by TNT where he said he believed he was the best player to ever live. He stated that after beating the Warriors in the 2016 NBA Finals, after trailing the series 3-1, he was the best ever. He told Kenny Smith from TNT, "At that moment, I was like, I'm the greatest basketball people have ever seen, in all facets."
Moment, I was like, I'm the greatest basketball player people have ever seen. In all facets.
The confidence of LeBron is to be admired, and he makes a very good argument. Kobe Bryant. The man who created Mamba mentality is one of the most iconic figures in the sporting world, not just basketball. Kobe won 5 NBA championships during his career. He was a multiple-time All-Star, and he and Shaq were the most feared duo in basketball in the late 90s and early 2000s. Mamba mentality was a way of life for Kobe. He lived and breathed basketball. His mentality allowed Kobe to dominate the game during his career and to reach the highs he did. So there is no surprise when the Black Mamba chose himself to be the greatest of all time. Whilst on a talk show with James Corden, Kobe Bryant rated himself the best player in front of Michael Jordan at 2 and LeBron James at 3.
Fine. I'm the best, Michael second best, LeBron.
Magic Johnson. Unlike some on this list, Magic Johnson is open to the fact that there could be a change in the all-time GOAT soon. The former 3-time NBA MVP believes that currently, Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. However, if LeBron can continue his high-level performance and take the LA Lakers to another NBA championship, then he would have more of a claim to the GOAT title. Johnson said when asked about the LeBron versus Jordan debate, "LeBron James is well on his way. If he wins one more championship, Michael and him are going to be right there together." It's a bold way to consider the GOAT debate, as going off championship rings alone would leave many more players in the running. But achieving a 5th championship would show the ability of LeBron to prolong his greatness through more seasons. Allen Iverson. Iverson is like many of us fans in the middle of the LeBron versus Jordan debate. He has changed his mind a few times. The 76ers Hall of Famer has before chosen Michael Jordan as the greatest of all time. He even went as far as calling him Black Jesus. However, he has also labeled LeBron as the best to ever do it too. Just like many of us, Iverson struggles to take a firm stance on the GOAT debate. His opinion is a unique one also, as he has played against both MJ and LeBron, seeing them both work up close and personal. Charles Barkley. There may be no one on this list who is as firm in their stance as Charles Barkley. The former 11-time NBA All-Star turned colorful TV analyst has been vocal that Michael Jordan is without a doubt the best player ever. Barkley doesn't believe there to be anyone close to MJ either. He has said before that LeBron James is closer to Magic Johnson than he is to Jordan. And after the 2018 NBA Finals when LeBron and the Cavaliers lost to the Warriors, Barkley said that he would slap anyone that thought LeBron is better than MJ.
It's LeBron. I'm just going to say this. Any media person that I see in person for the rest of my life who try to tell me LeBron James is good as Michael Jordan, I'm just going to slap the hell out of him right on the spot.
Robert Parish. There may be no better expert on the NBA than a man who has played in more NBA games than anyone in history. Robert Parish holds the NBA record for most games played at 1,611. He has won 4 NBA titles and is a 9-time NBA All-Star, and he believes the best to ever do it is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Parish and Abdul-Jabbar were starting centers for the Celtics and Lakers during their fierce rivalry throughout the 80s, and he believes that in his prime, Kareem was just unstoppable. And it's hard to argue considering Kareem has scored more points than any other NBA player in history, and the aim of basketball is to score more points than your opponent. Dwayne Wade. Locational bias will always play a part in the greatest of all time debate, as well as what era you grew up watching. If you were an NBA fan in the 50s, you'd favor Bill Russell as the GOAT. If you grew up in LA in the 60s, Wilt Chamberlain would be your GOAT. Grew up in the 70s, Kareem will be your GOAT. If you are a younger fan of the NBA, then LeBron will most likely be your GOAT. For 13-time All-Star and 3-time NBA champion Dwayne Wade, his GOAT is Michael Jordan. Wade was born and raised in Chicago. He grew up learning basketball by watching Michael Jordan take his hometown Chicago Bulls to multiple NBA titles. Earlier this year, Dwayne Wade said, "I never saw Bill Russell play. I never saw Kareem play. Obviously, they are someone else's GOATs, but my GOAT, I grew up in Chicago, so Jordan is mine." And this is coming from a guy who played shoulder to shoulder with LeBron James and won NBA championships with him. Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen won 6 NBA championships alongside Michael Jordan. They dominated the NBA together throughout the 90s. Many even go as far as to say that without Pippen, there would be no Jordan. So when it comes to whom he thinks is the GOAT, you'd think he'd choose the man he played side by side with the majority of his career, right? However, in 2017, during an interview on ESPN's First Take, when asked about his opinion on the GOAT, he said, "The numbers don't lie. He is right there." He probably will never catch him in terms of MVP, but in terms of statistics, LeBron is right there. And when you look across the board, not just scoring, check his assists, check his rebounds, he is probably ahead of Jordan. Of course, his answer sent Stephen A. Smith into a full meltdown.
You probably will never catch him in terms of MVP.
Okay.
But in terms of statistics, LeBron is right there. And when you look across the board, not just scoring, check his assists, check his rebounds, he's probably ahead of Jordan.
Oh my God!
Current players. In 2019, The Athletic conducted an anonymous poll with 117 current NBA players. One of the questions asked their opinion on who the greatest player of all time is, and the answer was as clear as you could ask. 73% of current players called Michael Jordan the greatest of all time, while only 11.9% of players voted for LeBron as the GOAT. So players who currently have to deal with LeBron on a yearly basis are still selecting MJ as the greatest of all time. Others who received votes were Kobe Bryant with 10.6%, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with 1.7%, and Magic Johnson, Allen Iverson, and Kevin Durant all received 1% of the votes. Although the poll was anonymous, with a little bit of digging, it's easy to find out whom some of the top players in the game voted for. Zion Williamson, the New Orleans Pelicans star, has said that Jordan is the greatest of all time, despite MJ being a North Carolina alum and Zion attending their rival school, Duke. Back in 2017, Portland Trailblazer Damian Lillard cryptically tweeted, "I don't think people will ever be able to admit someone is better than Jordan, even if they are, lol," while responding to a fan asking his opinion on the much debated topic, hinting that maybe he does believe that LeBron is the GOAT, but understands the masses are not willing to accept it. Draymond Green believes that LeBron may have surpassed MJ as the best to ever play the game. He cited LeBron's near-flawless resume as the reason behind his pick. Draymond has played opposite LeBron in many high-stakes games in the NBA Finals, one of which LeBron mounted an epic series comeback, which may alter Draymond's opinion slightly. Luka Doncic is becoming a star in his own right in Dallas. But before he was drafted to the NBA, he and his 2018 draft class were asked to choose whom they believed to be the GOAT. He chose Michael Jordan, as did Aaron Holiday, Marvin Bagley, and Grayson Allen. However, Jaren Jackson, Wendell Carter, and DeAndre Ayton believed that LeBron James was the greatest. Colin Sexton, now of the Utah Jazz, also believes that Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. The greatest shooter of all time, Steph Curry, is also on the Michael Jordan side of the debate. He did say, however, that he thinks that his Warriors team was capable of beating Michael Jordan's Bulls team, something I'm sure MJ would have a thing or two to say about. Are there any other NBA players or legends who have made their position on the GOAT debate clear? And who do you think is the greatest basketball player of all time? Let us know below. Whomever you think the best to be, you have to admit that LeBron James belongs in the conversation. He is the best player in the NBA today and has been paid to that effect. However, his royal lifestyle is not what it seems. Want to know why? Watch here.
Yeah.